Hello, everyone. Welcome, everyone, to Glow and Thrive Live. Happy New Year. It's 2025. I'm your host, Antonette Carabuena, and I am so excited to kick off today's topic being healthy during the new year. And also, today, we will focus to optimize your health through breathwork, athletic performance, and eating right. All right, everyone. Well, it's the new year. It's 2025. So I'd like to reintroduce myself. My name is Antonette Carabuena, and I am the owner of Curantis Private Nursing Services and Entrepinay. Curantis is a private concierge nursing service offering top tier nursing care to clients who are in need of a private nurse post operatively. Clients I support nursing, and so was elderly care in the comfort of their preferred location. And I'm also the proud owner of Entrepinay and Nurse Cafe. Entrepinay is an online pop-up store specializing in Filipino novelty gifts items and t-shirts as well, and also Nurse Cafe, where it is an online pop-up store for Filipino and nurses themed coffee. You can reach Curantis Private Nursing Services by calling us at 617-203-8897, or you can visit our website at curantisnursing.com. Visit us online for Entrepreneur at entrepreneur.shop and nursecafe.shop. Before I introduce my guest for today, I would like to say thank you to Filipinos in Production team. As you know, Filipinos in Production has grown exponentially over here in the US and also all around the globe to support all business owners to be able to network and collaborate with everybody. So if you would like to join the Filipinos in Community group, please go to Facebook and invite Filipinos in productions and most especially Filipinos in Massachusetts. Please also support Freedom Friday Live. This is hosted by one of my mentors and good friend, Mr. Ruben Austria, the infamous Ruben Austria, or as what we call him, Coach Ru. So if you want to be a guest for Freedom Friday Live, please feel free to reach out to them through Facebook, and they will certainly, you can certainly be a guest for Freedom Friday Live. All right, everyone. I am so excited today because Curantis Private Nursing Services, or my team at Curantis Private Nursing Services, did come up with a magazine titled Healthy Living All Year Round. And we're just going to kind of like touch up on what are the tips in terms of like exercise and building healthy habits through this, as you can see on the PowerPoint presentation. And as what you can tell, like building healthy habits can definitely, it's not just about like it's not just like really quick, it's all about maintaining a lifestyle that is not all about instant temporary diets. You need to make sure that you are disciplined and consistent. So we also have the different types of exercises that I just wanted to review to all of our guests today. And also, by the way, if you are watching us here in Massachusetts, in Boston, or the entire United States, and even globally, please drop in your comments and let us know where you are from. So, as what we've said, or what I've said, types of exercises, we have three types, right? We have cardio, strength training, the flexibility, and balance. So, some people do like walk, to walk. They love to run, swimming, cycling. That's part of the cardio exercise. Now, in terms of strength training for people that do lift weights, or some of the audiences that use or utilize resistance bands, that's also part of the strength training. And then for all the avid yoga fanatics and Pilates fanatics, and that's actually part of the flexibility and balance. And also, we do have different types of, how to boost your mood, and it definitely just reduces the stress through endorphin release. And we have like multiple like different tips as well on how to really maintain your exercise routine, as you can see on the slide as well. And then also you have to make sure that you fuel your body right by just like looking at all these like different tips here on the slide, as well as eating plenty of fruits and vegetables and everything that's actually on here, and all like the different types of like tips that we have to fuel your body right. And of course, through here on the next slide is decoding food labels, right? You have to make sure that when you go to the grocery store, to make sure spend some time in reading the labels. Definitely stay away from saturated fat or from any content that do have a lot of like processed like oils in it, as well as sodium content. So just make sure you definitely read your labels so you can decode them and buy appropriately. And of course, consistency is key, right? Definitely, you have to stay disciplined and you need to be consistent. So, these are just like quick tips in terms of how to help you in terms of tracking your progress and also building a daily routine. And that's basically it. We would like to thank you all for listening. And then let's basically go on to our featured guests. So, our first guest for today, I am so excited. He is Mr. Aaron Kennedy. He is the owner of Arke Performance. He is an online performance coach, and he helps athletes improve breathing mechanics. He has years and years, more than a decade of MMA experience. He is also a BJJ. He has BJJ experience, and he is a former pro. He is a breathwork expert. So, ladies and gentlemen, to all our guests globally, please welcome Mr. Aaron Kennedy. Hi, Aaron. How are you?
All right, Antonette, thanks for the fantastic introduction. I'm doing all right. How are you doing?
Of course, of course. I love you guys, and I'm pretty sure all our guests are right here. We're going to read all of their highs and their comments. You already have fans all over the globe, Mr. Aaron Kennedy. So please introduce yourself and let us know where you're from, your business. And I know you have a slide presentation for us today. So we're so excited.
Yeah, so basically, right now I'm situated in Stockholm, Sweden, and I'm originally from Ireland. I moved over here about 10 years ago. And when I came to Stockholm, I came to pursue martial arts professionally. Now, in the time that I was here, I eventually opened up a business, and now I'm basically functioning as a performance coach for athletes and individuals just looking to get that extra edge on their performance, be it in their life or their career as well.
Awesome. Wow, that's great. And Aaron, we cannot wait to learn about breathwork and what you got for us for today's show. So please go right ahead.
So yeah, basically, so what we're going to go is we're going to talk a little bit about breathwork for performance. Now, breathwork has been on a very large upward curve in regards to popularity, and the main focus that I want to touch on today is everyday performance against athletic performance. Now, my prime focus is to help everyday individuals increase their mental capacity and their physical capacity, but at the same time you have a large aspect that breathwork can help in regards to athletic performance. But what I also want to make very clear is that everyone is an athlete within their own right, as long as you're putting in the work of looking after your body, right? If you start to exercise and you start to look after your diet, if you're working out 3-4 times a week, you are being athletic, right? You may not be a high level athlete, but you are being athletic. But the main difference that sets very good athletes apart from average athletes is their ability to focus on their recovery, their ability to focus on sleep, their ability to focus on their mindset. And that's what breathwork really does for the everyday individual. So if we move on to the next slide, what I want to talk about very quickly. Now, this is a very brief part of the science that I think is very important for everybody to understand. So the Bohr effect essentially stands for the lesser the partial pressure of carbon dioxide within the blood, the greater the affinity that the hemoglobin in the blood has for the oxygen that it carries. Now, that sounds very, very complicated.
Did you follow that, Antonette?
I do. Hey, reverse it, right? Trying.
think.
Yeah. So it's a super complicated explanation, but basically all it means is that we need carbon dioxide in our blood for us to access oxygen, right? So if you think about your red blood cells, right, the things that carry oxygen, like a treasure chest or like a box, right? What I want you to imagine is that the box, if we can just go to the next slide, please. The box is basically holding all of the oxygen. Your red blood cells are holding the oxygen that you carry in your body. But without increasing the level of carbon dioxide in the blood, our body will not be able to access the oxygen that it's holding, right? So you say, for example, if we're breathing correctly, we have a key to open up that box to release the oxygen into the system. But if we aren't breathing correctly, what's happening is our body, our red blood cells are holding on to the oxygen. And that essentially is going to lead to a lack of blood flow to the brain, muscles, and organs. However, if we breathe correctly with the right functional mechanics, then we can access more blood so that we can fuel the brain, fuel the muscles, and fuel the organs too. So hopefully this is making sense with what I'm saying and it's not too complicated.
No,
Are
it's
you with me?
actually a great explanation, about the lockbox, and definitely having that key to open the lockbox is excellent.
Perfect. Okay.
Cardiac nurse.
Whew, we're on the right path then, aren't we? All right. So what we want to find out first of all, right? And everybody's going to do a quick test here together, right? So we're going to get ready for that in a second. But we want to find out first of all, right? Do we have a functional breathing pattern or do we have a dysfunctional breathing pattern? You see, the problem is that the majority of people I've ever come across, and I've come across a lot of people as I've been operating in this business, and the majority of people, I would say about 9 times out of 10, have a dysfunctional breathing pattern. And I know that I did before I discovered all of this too. So these are just basically some of the symptoms that we can experience if we do have a dysfunctional breathing pattern. So could we go back a slide just quickly, if that's okay? Thank you very much. If you're experiencing in life like unreasonable amounts, right, of anxiety or stress, or you're struggling to sleep, or you're feeling that you have this feeling of like fatigue in your body, we can go to the next slide. We can experience shortness of breath. Do you ever get the feeling of where you can't take a deep breath in? You just can't get the breath you feel like you need and you're stuck up in your chest, right? That's a sign of a dysfunctional breathing pattern, along with poor posture, back pain, and brain fog. So what we want to do is we want to find out, first of all, are we a functional breather or are we a dysfunctional breather? So if we move on to the next slide for me. This is what we're going to do. We're going to test ourselves. We're going to find out, right? So for us to be able to find out the answer to this question, we need a little bit of space for us to move around. So if you don't have a lot of space in your room, I'll give you a quick what do you call it? Impulsive decision so that we can figure it out, right? So what we're going to do is this, right? We're going to do a maximum breathlessness test, so the MBT score. Now, before we go into this, just a quick safety thing, right? You're going to be holding your breath for as long as you possibly can while you're standing up, right? So if at any point you feel like you get very lightheaded or you feel dizzy or something like that, stop.
Legal disclaimer.
Legal disclaimer.
We're not responsible.
Everyone's been fine. Just I always have to say it, right? So what we're going to do is this, right? We're going to stand up, right? We're going to take a normal breath in through the nose. Then we're going to take a normal breath out through the nose. And where the breath stops on the way out, we hold our breath. So it's on empty lungs. Then with our breath held, what we're going to do is walk back and forth. If you have a long straight line, go the whole straight line. Or if you have to walk in a circle, walk in a circle. Or if you have to pace forward and then back and then forward and then back, you can do that too, right? And what you're going to do with your breath held is you're going to count your steps. So I'm going to take a normal breath in through my nose, normal breath out through my nose, hold my breath, and I'm going to walk. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I want you to hold your breath for as many steps as possible, right? This test is designed to be a maximum breathlessness test. So what I want you to do is hold your breath for as long as you possibly can.
Okay.
And make sure you don't forget the count. Because whenever you start to like get very out of breath, most people forget how many steps they've taken. So try to remember how many steps, right?
Okay.
So we're going to do that right now. So everybody stand up.
Should I get up?
Do you want to do it? So everybody stand up.
Oh, neat.
What we're going to do is you're going to get a space where you can walk back and forth.
Okay.
You're going to breathe.
I'll stand up.
Are we with me? Right. So we're going to breathe in through the nose. We're going to breathe out through the nose. Hold your breath and start walking and count your steps. But I want you to walk at a pace that you would walk to the shop at. If you were to get out of your house, just stroll down to pick up your groceries, I want you to walk at that speed. So Erin's walking too slow behind me, so don't copy her. And just stay nice and calm, nice and relaxed. The more tense your mind is, the more tense your body is, the more oxygen you will use. So try to be as calm as possible as you do this. And just keep going for as long as you can. And then once you need to take a breath, come back to your computer screen, and then let's talk about the results.
I got 30.
You got 30. How many did you get, Antonette?
40.
Brilliant.
Oh,
So
savage.
yeah, right. So what we looked at here is there's two standard tests. There's several tests, but these are the two main ones that have been most researched, right? We've got our BOLT score, which we didn't do, so we'll just ignore that for now. Then we've got our MBT score. And as you can see here, if you got anything under 60 steps, then that's a solid signification that you are suffering from a dysfunctional breathing pattern. Now, if you have got under 60 steps, if we go back a couple slides, if that's okay. We're going to be experiencing all of these symptoms more often than not than what we actually should be. And it's all down to the breath. Now, why is it down to the breath? If we stop on this slide, you think about it. What that test did was tell you how tolerant you are to carbon dioxide. Now, if you have a poor tolerance to carbon dioxide, which if you got under 60 steps, shows that you do, it means that your access to oxygen is limited, meaning that your brain doesn't get enough oxygen. So it's more likely to experience anxiety and stress because it feels like it can't breathe. You're most likely going to have a poor sleep quality because you're not breathing correctly as you sleep. So you're getting less oxygen, so you can't recover as fast. If we move to the next slide. Same with shortness of breath. Whenever you don't breathe correctly, you breathe with your chest, meaning that your core strength suffers and you're stuck in a bad posture. You get back pain, and eventually you lead to brain fog. So if we move back to the test results, what everybody wants to be doing is aiming for 60 steps. If you're an athlete, then you need to push to achieve 80 to 100 steps. Now, the amount of time that it takes you to get from 20 or 40 to 60, it really doesn't take that long as you practice correctly. But the difference from getting between 60 to 100, that's elite level. So hopefully everybody got a little bit of the signification of how that felt and what it felt like to experience high levels of carbon dioxide and their own tolerance to the gas itself. So if we move on to the next slide, very quickly, I'm going to touch on this. Hyperventilation is breathing with panic. Whereas chronic hyperventilation is a very small signification that you're breathing too much. So if you find that you catch yourself that you're breathing through your mouth more often than not, or if you find like when you walk up a set of stairs or you get on your bike and you start to breathe heavily through the mouth, what starts to happen is that you're entering into a state of chronic hyperventilation. And as you go into chronic hyperventilation, it's very subtle, it's very small, and unless you're very tuned into it, you won't notice it. But what happens is you're constantly offloading too much carbon dioxide. And as you're constantly offloading more and more and more carbon dioxide, your blood vessels restrict and it holds on to the oxygen that's in your body so that you can't access it. And that just spirals out of control and sends you into anxiety, stress, poor sleep, and everything that we went over.
Amazing.
So if this makes sense, we'll go on to this last part of this my piece. Basically, these are the three components of functional breathing. How do we sort this out? Right? There's three main components. We've got the biomechanical aspect, which is all about how you breathe. We've got the biochemical aspect, which is all about the gas exchange within the body. And then we've got the psychophysiological piece that we're going to go on to in a second. But the number one tool that you can do to address this is to just start nasal breathing. Just breathe through the nose. Once you start to breathe through the nose consistently, what you're going to find is that a lot of stuff changes whenever you breathe in the nose. But number one, your access to oxygen is going to improve greatly. And your ability to be mindful and decrease your levels of stress and anxiety throughout the day is going to improve vastly. You're going to find that if you breathe through your nose as you sleep, you're going to sleep way better and you'll get much higher levels of REM sleep too. But you're asking me, how do I know? How do I know that I'm breathing through my nose whenever I sleep? Well, I'm a bit of a psychopath. And what I do is basically tape my mouth closed at night. And what I do is I get surgical tape. I wish I had it right here, but it's beside the bed. I get surgical tape. And with the surgical tape, what I do is I get a little strip of it and I don't duct tape my face, right? I just get a little bit and put it from top to bottom. And that teaches my mouth to stay closed as I sleep. And what I've noticed since I've done this, and many other people have been doing it that I work with, if you track your sleep, my REM increases greatly, and the amount of the better quality sleep I get improves vastly too.
You do. You sleep so much better. You feel so much more well rested.
You do feel much more well rested. So that's the number one thing that I would tell everybody to start doing now. Whenever you catch yourself breathing through your mouth, close it, because your mouth is for talking and it's for eating. It's not for breathing. Sorry, did I interrupt you?
No, I said get the tape so you can just close your mouth right before you sleep.
Yeah, just get the tape.
It's bedtime. Go to sleep.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so let's talk about this last piece, right, before we go into the quick exercise, right? So this here is a depiction of your nervous system, right? Now, your nervous system is broken up into two primary branches. You've got your parasympathetic branch and you've got your sympathetic branch. Now, the parasympathetic branch is down here in the green zone that you can see. Now, it's responsible for all of the good feelings that you feel in life. You think of relaxation, calm, joy, being present, being in the moment, being grounded, mindful, being curious, open to things. You think about sitting on the sofa with the best of friends or your spouse, and you're just having a laugh and having a great time. That's you in a parasympathetic dominance. That's you happy, feeling good. But then you've got the sympathetic branch, and the sympathetic branch is responsible for a much more heightened state of alertness. Now, the sympathetic branch is the fight or flight system, right? And you've got different emotions that are attached to the fight and to the flight. And as you can see here, if you just read it yourself, you'll notice that the different state that you're in shows the different emotion you're going to feel. If you're in a fight state, you're going to feel rage, anger, irritation, frustration. You ever come home like from a long day's work and you're very argumentative? I know I am sometimes. That's the fight. That's the fight side of the sympathetic dominance. Then you get the flight. That's it's more fear. It's more to do with panic, anxiety, and concern and worry, stresses about life, right? Now, it all sounds terrible, doesn't it? But the thing about the sympathetic branch of the nervous system is it's also responsible for you getting stuff done. So it's responsible for getting you up out of bed in the morning. It's responsible for you finishing the projects that you need to finish. And I'm sure you can guess other reasons as well. The problem is this. The problem is the environment that we're in, it constantly forces us into a higher state of alertness. It forces into a higher arousal state. So if we go back to the graph there, you'll see that there's an arousal state that rises up, and that basically shows our cortisol, our stress hormone. And as this rises up, our stress starts to increase. And you can see here within the sympathetic dominance, you can see a little thing on the bottom of the dotted line that says that I can. You're still in a state of believing that you can get through this and you can get over it. But then you see above that, there's another state. I can't. Now, this is different. This is a different state. This is your most phylogenetically, the oldest part of your nervous system. This is your shutdown. This is whenever people hit burnout, right? Immobility, depression. If you kick your arousal state too much and too high, you'll get to this point of where you hit freeze and you're unable to get out of it. And this is again depression and burnout. Now, there's a linear processes of emotions that are attached to this on the way up. And there's also linear processes of emotions that are attached to it on the way down, because what comes up must come down. The same with the stimulation of your nervous system. But the problem is that as your nervous system starts to downregulate itself, these negative emotions that are attached to it spike your cortisol level, and it keeps you engaged up in that freeze. And that's why people struggle to get out of burnout and struggle to get out of depression. So what breath work does is it acts like a trigger point, and it stimulates that parasympathetic branch, and it keeps on buzzing in that parasympathetic branch so that it brings your arousal state right the way down so that you can be in this state of joy, calm, and relaxation.
Makes sense.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does make sense, definitely. And I just also wanted to add in that one, as nurses and as healthcare professionals, I have friends that are clinical psychologists who have clients, and they've been teaching, this breathing techniques is what they call box breathing too for this client, especially for clients that are highly anxious. So thank you so much, Erin, for like really educating us about these and how like helpful it is to really do the breath work and explaining, the science behind it.
No problem. I appreciate it. Listen, the way that I look at it is I just want to get this out here so people can start using it, because whenever I found it, it changed my life completely. I was at a point in my life where I was a bit of like a mental mess because I was just so bloody stressed out all the time. And then when I found breath work, it changed everything. It allowed me to put my feet back on the ground and just see everything clearly and see everything for what it is, and not overthink too much, So if we want to do a quick exercise, we can do a
Yeah.
quick exercise if we want to go for this. So the way that I look at this is when it comes to breath work, right? It's the same as exercise, right? 5 minutes of exercise is going to make you feel okay, right? 45 minutes of exercise is going to make you feel fantastic. So it's the same as breath work. 5 minutes of breath work, you're going to get an idea of how it makes you feel. But you really, really want to start thinking about, how do I push further into it and get a longer session so I can really experience it? Because I can't tell you how it feels. You can only experience it for yourself.
Right.
So if anyone is interested and they want a longer session, I think my email is somewhere here like this. I'm happy to just throw out a longer session so that you can try it out and do whatever it is that you want to do with it, and hope that it helps you. But what we'll do now is we'll do a quick one. So what we're going to do is this, right? You're going to make sure that your back is against something. So you're either sitting down with your back leaning against the wall or a chair, or what you can do is just lie down. But since it's a short one, you can just sit up. We're going to close our eyes, and everyone's going to do this at the same time.
All right.
All right. So eyes closed. What I want you to do is take a nice deep breath in through the nose. Breathing in. Hold your breath. Now, breathe in again. Hold your breath. And then what I want you to do is just allow the breath to fall out of the mouth effortlessly. Breathe in again. Hold. Breathe in again. Hold. And release to the mouth. Breathe in again. Breathe in again. And release. Now we breathe in and send the air as deep as possible. So breathe in. Hold. Breathe in. Hold. Breathe out through the mouth. We're going to keep going. Breathing in. Hold. Breathing in. Hold. And release. Remain with the eyes closed. And now what we're going to do is combine both of those breaths into one smooth, fluid breath. So fill the bottom of your lungs first, and then end it up with filling the chest. So take a smooth breath in and release. Breathing in and release. Breathing in and release. And what I want you to do is keep doing that while I speak. So continue to draw the air as deep into the lungs as possible. Whenever you reach that full expansion, that full capacity, just allow it to release and fall out of the system as easy as possible. Just keep on breathing. And what we're going to do in a very short period of time is hold our breath, but we're going to hold our breath again on empty lungs. And it's not going to be like before. This time it's going to feel very nice. This is going to be us stimulating the parasympathetic branch of the nervous system. So in 15 seconds, we're going to take a deep breath in together. Then we're going to release, and then we're going to hold. So I want you to breathe a bit faster for the next 10 seconds. Breathing in and out, and in and out. Breathing in and out. And on this last one, everybody take a deep breath in together. Breathing in. Fill the lungs. And release. As your breath empties, hold your breath here. Keep the breath held. Relax the shoulders. Relax the body. Relax the mind. Feel the release of tension. And in 5 seconds, we're going to take a deep breath in and we're going to hold our breath again. In 3, 2, 1. Take a deep breath in. Hold your breath. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release.
Wow.
How do you feel?
Good, like a brand new woman. I feel like I feel like I'm 18 years old. Oh my goodness. That's amazing. Oh,
So did
wow.
you feel the difference in like the change of your like inner state with just like 5 minutes of that?
Yes, I did. I wish I can do more. I mean, I'll definitely gonna like this will be part of my routine. I'm gonna be contacting you of the other like exercises that we can do for like 45 minutes and all those different types of breath work that I can do. That's amazing. For our audience, if you guys did practice breath work with us with Erin, please drop in your comments in the comment section and let us know if that can be part of your New Year's resolution aside from exercising and eating healthy. And yeah, thank you so much, Erin. And also, since you have this beautiful gal beside you, I would like to introduce her to our audience worldwide and globally. My friend, Erin Emerling. She is a
Hello,
registered.
hello.
Well, she is a friend of mine. She has her master's in functional medicine. So both Erin Kennedy actually are working together. They are a team. They're working together in their thriving business, Arke Performance. So, hi, Erin. Please introduce yourself to our audience. They probably are like wondering, like, who's this beautiful lady?
This guy brought his wife to the podcast. Yeah, so thank you for having me. As Antonette said, I'm also a registered nurse. Antonette and I met many millions of years ago, it feels now, when we were young nurses. Yeah, so I became a nurse 2011, so it was almost 15 years ago now. I'm feeling old. But about 7 years ago, I moved to Europe, and a lot of things changed for me at that point. And a big thing that opened my eyes was the food system. And I discovered different types of training, like strength training. Actually, Erin was the one that introduced me to that aspect of health, and it changed my life completely. And so I decided to take a deeper dive into the power of food. And that's when I came across the concept of functional medicine, and it's a growing movement. Um, and we have our standard Western approach to medicine, which is great, but it's heavily based in treating symptoms. Functional medicine aims to address the root cause of disease. And so as soon as I heard that, I was hooked and I wanted to learn more. So yeah, as I mentioned, I got my master's degree a few years ago, and Erin and I work together. I help consult some of his executive clients, and I also see clients of my own individually. So it's been a lot of fun, and I've it's constantly a learning process for myself as well, because functional medicine is all evidence based. So it's with any new concept, you meet a little bit of resistance for people at first because they're not sure what to make of it. But within my scope of practice, most of my recommendations are lifestyle based approaches, or I, steer people in certain directions. So yeah, that's me.
That's awesome.
Way to
Before
go.
we go in the slides, and because we're gonna ask Erin and Erin questions. It's like a perfect match, right? It's like a tongue twister. Erin and Erin, and then you
We're
guys
gonna start a cult. That's what it feels like.
business. It's just like, oh my God, it's just like definitely the perfect match for you both. So I actually have, if our producer actually said he's about to pass out. So Emerson, you need to like work on your breath. Please contact Aaron after the show, okay? And also it says his nose is bleeding. I don't know what he meant with that one, but he's probably just like
He's not doing well.
but please stay until the end of the show because we need you to like for this production. But Emerson, if you could just bring in all like the comments, because our duo over here already have fans all over the globe. So I know we have people actually watching us. I know Eva Muy is actually watching us, Aaron.
What?
Yes, and Mr. Ruben Austria is said love the new show. We have also Roberta is also watching. That's my mom. Hi, mom, Roberta Carabuena. She's here supporting us all.
Is my
I
mom
know
in there? She better be on there. Is there a Mary in the chat?
pretty sure there is. And also, yeah, Mr. Coach Rue actually says eating healthy is my next challenge to overcome. I have no problem being disciplined about training and working out. Discipline on what I eat is another story. That is so true.
It's really
But
hard. Yeah,
oh,
and
Ethan, hi.
Who's
That's
Mary?
Amoy supporting Erin and Erin for today's show. So thank you so much, guys. Please drop in your comments in the link below or in the comment section below. We actually have a pretty good number of people watching us live. But it's 3 p.m. People are just starting to coming out of work and probably stuck in traffic right now here in Massachusetts. But I'm pretty sure this video is gonna go wild and viral later on for replays tonight. So I'm so excited to know the numbers on that as well. Please do support our guests for today's show, Arke Performance. You can definitely find them on Instagram and Facebook, and also Erin Emerling and Mr. Aaron Kennedy. All right, Erin. So on to the next topic. We're gonna talk about nutrition. I know Coach Rue was just talking about, eating healthy. It's gonna start tomorrow, eating right. So my question is, what is like the nutritional difference between functional medicine kind of looks at the nutrition differently compared to like the traditional methods.
Yeah, so functional medicine, and I had up there the 5 pillars that I see and that functional medicine pretty much addresses as contributing to your overall health. So you have movement and exercise, you've got rest and sleep, you've got diet and nutrition, you have your social connectedness and your relationships, and then you have your like sense of purpose, spirituality. But to your question about nutrition, functional medicine basically comes in with the view that food is medicine. I mean, if you think about food, it's what you put into your body every single day. And everything you put into your body can either help you or work against you. And it's not to say that like anything you can have like your vices, you can have something that, you cheat with every once in a while, but if you're constantly putting something into your body that isn't serving it, inevitably you're going to develop chronic disease. And so basically the way functional medicine looks at food, it's just, I mean, it's not this crash, diet approach where I'm going to restrict all these calories, because it's not sustainable. It's about sustainability and making sure that people get the most out of their diet. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's so insightful because, people always like go to crash diets, right? And I think that's right. Like it might work probably in the first week or second week, but it's really not sustainable. I totally agree with that one. And, thank you for the information that's so insightful. And, with the new year, all of our audience and everybody are like focusing on, the proper diet, eating right. So, in terms of, since we were actually talking about crash diets too, like what are like tips that you can give to our audience in terms of like meal planning advice and trying to like kind of like stay away from like the crash diet approach, but more on like eating healthy and more of like the functional medicine approach type of stuff?
Yeah. So, I mean, the thing when it comes to correcting a problem you see in your diet, the way I like to approach clients is I look at what can we add in prior to taking away everything people love, because food is not just food for most people. It's culture, it's emotion, it's ritual. Like food has a lot of feelings tied to it. And when you immediately want to take something away, there's just this resistance internally. Even you might be able to get through it initially, but it's always going to be held on this pedestal. So I like to look at what can you add in. So I always recommend, if you're not getting enough phytonutrients through like colorful vegetables, add those in. And then, continue about your diet, but go in small increments. So see what you can add in first. You can add in veggies, you can add in fiber, you can add in more protein, and then look at the things that you can kind of cut back on. But what will happen typically is when you add those things in, they naturally start to kind of push those bad things out anyways, and you'll find yourself craving less of the bad stuff and more of the good stuff naturally.
100%.
Yeah, that's totally. I love that advice, and that approach. But as you know, we have a bunch of majority of our viewers right now are here in the U.S. So it is a culture, and hopefully we'll start to realize and change that people always want like instant food or any type of like instant gratification that they can grab, because everybody's just like so focused on their everyday work and trying to like get that work-life balance. So could you give us like a few examples of like a quick healthy snacks that you can kind of like tell our audience who's watching for today's show?
Yeah, I mean, the something I've noticed about the culture here in Sweden versus the culture in the US is like, you'll see construction workers at like the gas station or whatever. And in the States, typically they're grabbing candy bars, chips. But here you see people grabbing things like nuts and fresh fruit and cottage cheese. And I find that to be really interesting. So if you're looking for like a quick, healthy snack, I think a good protein source is always like should be your first go-to. So again, cottage cheese, Greek yogurt, some nuts, like that's always a good first line of attack. And realistically, we shouldn't even be snacking that much. So you should only really be snacking if you're absolutely needing it. If your meals aren't satiating you, then you're missing something in your major meals of the day. And you touched on this a little bit with the meal prep, but like preparing, in the beginning of the week to kind of just outline. And I know it can take a lot of work and sometimes things come up and whatever, but if you can try to more or less plan your week out, it will set you up for success. And it'll set you up for cooking at home, so you know exactly what's going into your food. So pick a day like Sunday or Monday and just commit that to doing all your grocery shopping and making, say, like a big batch of salad and a big thing of chicken. So you could just throw those quickly and easily into a Tupperware container or, whatever it may be.
Awesome. Yeah. So meal prep is really the key. That's so important. And I know, yeah, thank you, Emerson, for letting us know. We have a few minutes left on the show, but I'd like to thank everybody. I know we have a few more guests that join us and put in their comments. We also want our guests to write in or like comment on what's their new goal for the new year. May it be breathwork or eating healthy. Eva says, love you guys. And we also have another one here that says, hello, everyone. Shout out from Holyoke, Massachusetts. Ali Lai, thank you so much. So we guys have like avid fan now in Holyoke, Massachusetts. Thank you so much. Please do follow Arke Performance online and support Filipinos in production. Yeah, so I would like to thank everybody, all our guests, to our guests and all of our audience today for being so interactive. Thank you so much. And we learned a lot today about, breath work can definitely improve focus and performance, and also eating right. Functional medicine definitely like emphasizes the personalized and sustainable eating habits, and definitely small changes can lead to big results as long as you stay disciplined and consistent with it. So before we close the show, I'd like to ask our audience, Erin and Erin, about their takeaways for today's show and any advice that they can give to our audience and our producers and myself for today.
Yeah, start taping your mouth closed at night.
I will do that tonight, Erin. Thank you.
Yeah, and I didn't really touch on this as much as I would have liked, but I think one of the best things you can do for your health is think about maintaining your blood sugar at a steady level. So learn how to make a complete plate. And I'm sorry I didn't touch on this, but every meal should have a protein source, a carbohydrate source, a fiber source, and a fat source, healthy fat. So if you do that well and you fill up on protein, you're going to stay satiated and your blood sugar is going to stay stable. So stable blood sugar, that's my takeaway. Aim for that, read up on it. I can't get into it more right now, unfortunately, due to time, but yeah, that's the best.
We have some time, but definitely contact Erin and Erin, Arke Performance, please. Just like contact them and they'll definitely show you all like the good stuff about eating right and breath work and athletic performance. But you guys, thank you so much. It's been great. If you enjoyed today's session, it was definitely great content. Please don't forget to follow Erin Kennedy and Erin Emerling. They have their Instagram and Facebook account. Please follow Arke Performance and definitely contact them. If you need like an online performance coach, please contact them. And would also like to ask all of our audience to follow and support Filipinos in Production as they help everybody else, all the business owners, to give out great content like what you are watching today. Thank you so much, guys. And
thank you so much for having us.
Thank you very much.
Take care.
Have a nice day. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.